Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. So today we are back with another Dye With Me video. Two videos ago, so about a month ago at this point, it was in the New Year's themed colorway that we dyed. I asked you guys to vote on a photo to use in an upcoming series, and we are launching that series today. So what this series is going to be all about is photo inspiration. So a lot of times when I dye up colorways, I use photos that I then kind of base my colorways off of. And in particular, I do this a lot with my Yarn of the Month Club. So I will show you guys a photo, and that's all you'll know about the colorway until you receive it. So it's a mystery Yarn of the Month Club where you can see the photo. And I thought it would just be fun to show you guys what I look for in photos and then how I kind of pick the colors out of it. Like I said, this is going to be a series, so this isn't just going to be one video, and I think it'll be really fun to talk about these things because we all are going to see different things in these photos, and I think it'll be really fun to talk about that. So before we continue, I will say that the photo I ended up choosing for this series was the cake one. And so a lot of you wanted the desert. I would say it was split between the desert and the cake, and I did not count. I did not do any formal counting. This was just reading through. It seemed like it was pretty split between the desert photo and the cake photo. And the reason why I chose the cake photo for the series is we're going to be looking at it over a few videos, and we're going to be creating a few different colorways, and I thought that the cake photo had more interpretations in it than the desert photo did. I felt like that was more uniform in color, and you'll kind of see over the videos. I think it'll make sense why we chose the cake photo. So that is the winner. But since you guys love that desert photo so much, there's a very good chance that you will see it pop up as an inspiration for a Yarn of the Month Club skein. So if you did like that photo, make sure you keep an eye out for when that shows up so you join the club in time for that skein. I will say clubs are always available on my shop, and you'll see in there when kind of the next one starts. So for now, because it's late in the month, if you join, you'll have missed the February clubs at this point. So if you join now, you'll be joining for the March clubs, which ship at the end of February. But if you want to see what February looks like, keep an eye out on my Instagram. On the 15th, I will reveal what February looks like, and then you will have that day and that day only to purchase it if you like the colorway. But again, the clubs are ongoing, the Mystery Yarn Club, so you can join anytime. Okay, so again, we chose the cake photo, and I'm not going to show it until after. I'll show it a little bit, but we did choose the cake photo, and so what I'm going to do is put up a photo of it here. I want you guys to look at it. If you want to pause it here so you can look at it a little bit longer, feel free to do so. And before seeing kind of the Dye With Me video, I would love for you guys to comment below on what you see when you look at this photo. So if you were to picture a skein of yarn based on this photo, what colors would you make it? What would the base be? Would you make it a tonal? Would it be speckled? What would the base be? What colors would the base be? What would you do with it? And I know some of you have been playing around with dyeing, and some of you dye. So if you want to, go on to the dye pots, go dye up a skein of yarn based on this photo. And if you want to share it with me, either send it to me at agirlandherwool@gmail.com, or if you want to share it on Instagram and tag me, I'll include the photos of what everyone did in the next vlog, but we'll see if anyone does it. I would love to see what you guys come up with before you watch. So again, take another look at the photo, and even if you don't dye, just comment below with what you see, like what do you expect this skein to look like, and we're going to use that in a future video. So what did I do? So I will say I dyed this up on most of my bases. So I dyed it up on sock, DK, and BFL sock. So I want to give a huge thank you to everybody in the Dye With Me club. You guys are really helping me keep these videos going, as well as being able to dye more. So for example, today I dyed up this colorway on a whole bunch of skeins across a whole bunch of bases, and that's all thanks to you guys being in the club. If you don't know what the Dye With Me Club is, it's the only way you guys can buy the yarn that I dye in the Dye With Me videos, and it renews on the 1st of every month, so you can sign up anytime, and then on the 1st of the month it'll automatically create an order that I will then pull a skein from a previous Dye With Me video and send it on out to you, and it's offered at a great price. So consider checking it out. I will put a link to that club down below. So yeah, thank you for joining the Dye With Me Club. It's been a success, and I'm really excited to bring you guys more. If it continues to grow and everything, I may even be able to do these more often. So that's exciting. Okay, so in this video, like I said, I dyed it up on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins. So I think it's 2 sock, 2 DK, and 1 BFL sock. And so we're gonna head into the Dye With Me video. Remember to stick around at the end where we talk about some of the things that we see in the skein afterwards, as well as continuing to do giveaways. So you guys can see if you won last week's video or last time's giveaway, and then enter for this time. Keep in mind, again, I'm gonna show it, so if you don't want to see it until the end, close your eyes. If I just held one up, then that was the pooling versus non-pooling from last time, so I didn't spoil anything. They are just here in this bin also. The other thing with the Dye With Me clubs is if you guys see something that, if you're in the club and you see something that you want, send me an email and say, I want that colorway on that base. And if you want to give like multiple options, you can do that. It'll be on a first come, first serve, no guarantee basis. All right, so I'm going to show the skein now. I won't include audio, but if you want to save it for a surprise, now's when you should skip ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to hold it up. So before we really get started here, kind of similar to last time, the videos from the original dyeing session were corrupted. And so I mentioned dyeing this on about 5 skeins, but you see the 1 skein in front of you. This is an 100-gram skein on my sock base. So I just went ahead and re-dyed it for filming this. Hopefully this, this is the last one with the corrupted files, and hopefully this doesn't happen again. But things happen. So again, you'll hear me reference, the different bases and things, but it is just on this 1 skein. Also, something to keep in mind is that I re-recorded this maybe like a month later, and so I didn't have a formula written down, but you'll get the main idea. And yeah, so let's kind of head into it. So I have the 1 skein here. Again, it's 1 100-gram skein on my sock base. I have it sitting in the pot here. And when I looked at the skein, I saw a lot of white, and so I wanted to leave a lot of the skein white, but of course we had that purple. So I blended up a really light purple in my bottle here, and I'm spraying it all over. I think of the base of the skein as kind of being white with purple. So that was what I was going for with the base. So again, I'm curious to read what you guys interpreted the picture as and see what you guys went with. If it ends up being more purple, then, for those of you who saw the skein, what it looks like, you saw a lot of white. So I started with the purple. Again, I put it in the bottle to dilute the dye down a little bit and keep it a very light purple. I wanted this skein to be very light, pastel-y, and bright. So that is what we started with. All right, so I'm speeding this up a little bit because I'm letting the purple set. Again, I want to keep a lot of the base layer, but I wanted to keep this clip in so you can see the purple kind of darken as it sets. What I find is with purple, it starts off really light. It really needs the heat to increase, and in my bottle, I just do kind of room temperature water. So it takes a little while for the dye to kind of take its true color. So I tend to go slow with purple. We can always add more layer. Later, I say it all the time, but you can see it just goes on really light, and then you'll see as the video goes on, it just deepens up quite a bit. So Again, I let it set. And again, another thing with spraying it in the bottle is that I have more control over where it kind of lands. So that's another way of how I keep a lot of the white in the skein. So again, this is the base layer, white and purple. So I just moved it around so that way I could hit on more areas, and then we'll kind of get into the additional layers in a bit. And you're about to see the clip just change into after it's set. So you really see the purple really darken, but it didn't move around so much, which is great because that's what we were going for. So I'm going to kind of speed this up as we kind of continue on. When I looked at the photo, I saw a lot of like pastel colors. So the purple, of course, but then also a little bit of pink and a little bit of green. So the same idea in the sense that I'm leaving a lot of the skein white, and honestly a lot of the purple too, but just wanted to bring in a little bit of pink and a little bit of green. So you'll kind of see the green come in a little bit, and again, not too much, and then we'll head into the additional layers and what else I saw in the skein. Before I head on here, just another reminder that when people talk about muddying up colors, this is just something that I do. I go slow. I add one color at a time. I'm often dyeing up other things at the same time, or I have a knitting project. It really, you just have to be patient, and so that's kind of what I'm doing here with the skein, is just being patient with the different colors because I don't want to blend them too much. I really wanted the white and purple to stand out. So I did forget to press play right before I started, so a few drops of the green made it on there, but you see it's another pastel green, and we're going to add a little bit more. So a little bit of green, not completely covering it, not as much purple, just a little bit of green to show. Kind of on the cake there was the purple and a little bit of pink I saw, and the green. There are also the flowers off to the side, which we'll talk about a little bit when we start speckling, but I just wanted those kind of pastel colors in there and to really show it. So just a little bit of green. You really won't even see it too much when we look at the finished skeins, but it will be there, which will help kind of blend in some of the flowers of the speckles into like the cake portion of it. All right, we're gonna get into the speckling now. So before I kind of speed this up, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about what's happening here. So first of all, again, not too much of the green. It's still a pretty white skein, very purple. Hopefully you see those colors sticking out. When I originally dyed up this colorway in the pan, I had it, you know, kind of in my long rectangular pans, and I just kind of speckled across one strip of the skein. I'm doing it in this rounded pot now, and I kind of realized that wasn't necessarily the best idea. I just wanted one piece of it, so I folded the skein in half. So you're kind of seeing like if you took it lengthwise, so think about it lengthwise and then folded it in half, that's kind of where I just speckled. So it's across like a strip of it, but it just has a fold in the middle. In terms of the speckles themselves, I kind of saw the cake as one thing, and then off to the side there were the flowers that were kind of the decoration. And so I wanted to represent the speckle or the flowers in the speckles. That's kind of how I saw it. The cake was kind of the base of the skein, and then the speckles were, or the flowers were the speckles. But they were off to the side, and so I didn't want to speckle the entire skein, which is why I decided to just do like one strip of it. And in the speckles and in the flowers themselves, there were, you know, green, because, you know, all plants have green stems, of course. And then it had kind of some of the more, not like, I never know the term for like a brighter pink that's not hot pink, but like a deeper bright pink, and then some purple. So that's what I'm going to come in and speckle with. It's all kind of different colors than I used in the base layer, and it just kind of adds a little bit of pop to it. And then I flip it over and do the same, and that's it. So the part of the skein that you see white here really stays pretty white. So that's kind of it for one side. I always mention this with speckling. It always looks like a lot when you have it kind of scrunched into the pan, but you'll see when we finish, it really isn't as much as it might look like. It looked like a large clump of green. But it really isn't so bad. So bad. It's not so dense when you see the kind of strands all kind of brought out. So again, just putting those brighter pinks and purples on there as well to represent those flowers that are off to the side of the photo. So that is it. That is how I dyed the skein. I am so curious to see what you guys did, if you took the challenge to dye it, and if not, what you guys put in the comments for what you wanted to see. So let me know what you think. All right, and we are back. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. I think it was really fun to dye it up as a batch, and what's really interesting too is that because they're one of a kinds, I'm not necessarily going for consistency. So you'll see some of them have a lot more of the purple, and then some are a lot more white. So I thought that was fun. So what did we do with this skein? And I will, for those of you who haven't seen them yet, I'll hold it up on various bases. But when I looked at the photo, I saw a lot of white. And I think it'll be interesting to see what you guys say, because the white was really the background. And if you looked at the cake and the flowers around it, then you might say, oh, I pictured this to be an entirely purple skein with colors. So that's why I kind of wanted to see what you guys came up with first. And I'll be interested to see how many people thought of a white skein as well. So again, I have the white skein here, and again, it just has really light purple. Hopefully it's not getting too blown out, but we just have light purple, the pinks on there, and the greens. I'll show it on, so that was my sock base. Here's it on another sock base. It might be getting a little bit washed out actually. And then here it is on DK, that's less white of a skein. So you see a lot more of the purples and the pinks and the greens on it. And then we speckled in one area. So I'll show you guys the BFL sock one. So again, this one has a lot more of the pinks and purples in it. And this could just be positioning. Again, it might be getting washed out a little bit. Maybe this is better back here. You see a lot more of the purple now. So on this one you can see then we speckled in just the one area, which is really nice because you do get the overall feel of the skein of that white that I saw a lot of, with the highlights of the purples and the pinks. And then like in the picture, the speckles represent those flowers, and that was just off to the side, and I just think it looks really cool to have it like that in the skein. I also tried to wind these up a little bit differently. So comparing, this is both on sock. And so on this one, the speckles are more kind of within the skein, whereas on this one, I kind of left it at the top there. So I tried to wind these up to kind of showcase the differences. This is it on DK. So again, leaving some of the speckles at the top versus here, I kind of put in the middle of the skein. And then here it is on the BFL sock. So overall, really pretty color. This is a great springtime color, and just really fun, light pastel-y type of color. So definitely let me know what you guys think of this. Is this what you were imagining? I'd love, love, love to know. Which parts of it are your favorite, which parts aren't. I think when I was dyeing, I was a little nervous about how much green speckles I did, but I think it turned out great, and it looks really, really nice, and I love how the speckles look. The other thing I was going to talk about was, and I haven't done like an in-depth different dyeing on different bases video, but my sock base and my DK base, they're the same. They're both 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And so I don't really typically see any differences in how I'm dyeing other than the speckles. But I've mentioned this before, that the speckles almost on DK look more pixelated. And I don't know if you can see it there, but you can see here, like just the pink speckles are going to be much larger than they are on here. Maybe showing it here helps. Like the speckles, just because there's a greater surface area, here's a good spot where I'm looking at the green versus the green, right? Like because the yarn is thicker, the speckles kind of look bigger. So that's kind of just one thing that I noticed. And dyeing it on BFL sock versus sock. One's BFL and one is merino, but I never really find a big difference between them. So that is that. So if you are in the Dye With Me club and you love this colorway and you love it on a certain base in particular, send me a message. Don't include it in the comments. It's easier for me to see it all in the emails. So mention it, send me an email at agirlandherwool.com and let me know. And in the next video, what I want to do again is I'm gonna look through and see what you guys thought you would see what this picture is. And what I plan to do in the next video is do this again. So we're gonna use the same photo for inspiration and come up with a whole different colorway. And I think that it'll be really fun to compare what it looks like. So if you didn't comment before because you weren't sure what you would have made it look like and you're seeing it now and it's giving you thoughts of like, huh, I was really thinking whatever, let me know. Or if you just want to see how it looks as something different and you have ideas, let me know. Again, this series is going to be all about photo inspiration and how we see things differently. And so this is how I saw the skein. I saw it as white with those pinks and purples with the speckles for the flowers. But I would love, love, love to know what you guys saw in the photo, and let's dye it up. So again, if you did dye it up, send me a picture or tag me in a picture if you post it on Instagram, and I will share it here on the vlog next time. Otherwise, we will be dyeing another skein off of this photo in the next video in 2 weeks. All right, so a little bit of an outfit change. I don't know if Nacho was in the earlier clip, but he is here with us now. And I am gonna do the giveaway. So I pre-recorded everything you saw kind of leading up to this, and so I had to save the giveaway part for now because I think even when I was recording it, I hadn't even aired the last Dye With Me yet. So anyway, if you watched 2 weeks ago, I did the pooling versus non-pooling, and you guys really seemed to enjoy that. You guys really seemed to enjoy that. I really loved a lot of the comments you guys were talking about. So there were a lot of, there were things across the board. I think a lot of people kind of agreed with me that it can depend on the project. Sometimes it's nice to have kind of the self patterning yarn, and so pooling can do that. But a lot of people, I think, also agree with things that I've thought about too, of like, you know, the plan pooling, and it would kind of distract in the knitting. Like you might be too focused on how the pooling was working out, and it would drive you crazy. And that's kind of where I've been too before. So they definitely both are great and both have their place, of course. But it was really interesting. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It seemed like you guys learned a lot. So I'm happy to do videos like that. So if you want to see any follow-ups to that kind of topic, I'm happy to do that. And if you guys have anything else you want to see, I'm happy to talk about it. And again, it's always my perspective and my opinion. You could do things a million different ways. Hand dyeing yarn is an art, of course, and this is just how I do it. So that is that. So thank you so much if you commented on that video. I really enjoyed this one, and I haven't actually written a blog post about it yet because I wanted to wait and see kind of what everyone else was talking about. So I'm hoping to have a blog post soon with more detail and kind of like talking through some of the comments that I got as well. So make sure you subscribe to my blog so you don't miss out on that. But if you did comment on it, you were entered into a giveaway for a skein of one of my new colors that I launched in January. So Galentine's Day, which is my Valentine's colorway of the year, Valentine's colorway for this year. As well as Aurora, which is just a fun other color that I love, and you guys seem to love it too. So you have your choice. You will win in a 100-gram skein. Base of your choice, you can pick sock, which is my merino nylon blend, BFL sock, which is a BFL nylon blend. If you haven't tried the BFL sock base and you are a sock knitter, I recommend trying it out. And DK, which is also a superwash merino nylon blend. And then if you guys want to have it on my worsted base, you can as well. That's an 100% superwash merino blend. So base of your choice, one of those two colors. So if you win, if I'm about to announce your name, please email me at agirlandherwool@gmail.com with your colorway and base, and of course your address, and I will get that out to you as soon as possible. All right, so the winner of this giveaway is Aura of Life. So thank you so much for commenting. Please email me, again, like I just said, and I will get the colorway out to you. In the comment you mentioned Aurora, but feel free to pick Valentine's Day. It's really up to you. And I just want to say that I do use a random number generator. I know a lot of the same people comment over the various weeks, so I want to say that the random number generator, I go with the number that it picks. So some of you may start winning a second time because you guys are all winning. So I'm not going to kind of keep track of who has won and who hasn't won. So if you're a lucky person who wins a second time, you win a second time. I just want to put that out there, that your name goes back into the hat equally every time. So please keep commenting, and I will pick whoever I pick, and that will be that. So because this is the last die with me, I want to show you guys who are in the Die With Me Club kind of your options for this month. And then I'm going to announce the giveaway information at the end. It's different, so stick around to hear out what it is. And I'm just going to grab the Die With Me skeins from this month, and then if you are in the Die With Me Club and you have a preference, email me. That's going to be how I track it. It's going to be email only. Last time I was trying to track in different places and everything with times, so I'm only going to count requests via email. So that's agirlandherwool@gmail.com. And what you can do is just give me your top preference, or give me a few preferences. Make sure you mention the color, the base, whatever. And if you want to give me a few options just in case you weren't the first one in, definitely feel free to do that. So I go first in. Basically, I start with the first email, write down their preference, and then I go down the list from there. So if you had given me a preference and the preference you asked for is not already accounted for, I don't remember how I just worded that. So we're gonna try again. So if you gave me a preference, right, and it wasn't already accounted for, I package up your orders first, and then I take the remainder pile of packages and the remaining pile of yarn, and I just pick one up and put it in. So it's pretty random. I'm not going to keep track of what you got. So if you got DK last month, you may get DK again. I'm not going to keep track of anything. So if you have a preference, let me know. If you don't have a color preference but you have a base preference, that works too, and I will go from there. So here's what your choices are for this month. I have my big old Die With Me bin here. So I want to start with something that you might not realize was in here. This color, this is an 100-gram skein of my sock base, and if you guys remember, this was probably a couple months ago at this point, but we tested out a new to me dye, and I will link the video down below if you haven't seen it, if you're a newer watcher. But we tested out a new to me dye, and I did a whole bunch of mystery minis, and then I ended up like kind of trying to come up with a new colorway using it. So this must have been like the holiday season, because things got busy and it never happened. So this skein never got listed in my shop. It's just been sitting here. It never got listed, and I never really wrote down the formula. So I could rewatch the video probably and figure it out, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. So if you are in the Die With Me Club, this was in a previous Die With Me video, so if you want this one, let me know. I just wanted to let you know that that was also kind of in the mix this month, because why have it sit around in my house? I'd rather one of you have it and use it. Okay, so then we had the first video of this month. So all of the skeins we dyed in December are gone. So it's really everything from January. So we started out with the Die With Me Club. So we had the pooling colorways. So we have it on DK, or BFL sock. I'm not even showing it. BFL sock. We had the pooling colorway on sock. Where is it? On sock, BFL sock, and DK, right? Oh, I didn't do the pulling on DK, that's right. I just did it on sock and BFL sock, figuring that most people like it for socks because that's where it's nice to get that pattern. So just sock and BFL sock, and I have a couple of skeins of each from there. One thing that I want to point out with the pulling skein, I have this one too. So if you look at it, it's shorter and fatter. I think this is the one that I did in my re-dye video, so like the actual dyeing video you saw. So if you like the idea of pooling, but you want it to be less bits of the color, so basically because it's a shorter skein, you'll get like less stitches in a row of each color. So like each section will be shorter, but you'll get like more rounds of it. So if you like pulling, but you want it to kind of blend in a little bit more, that might be a good option. I wanted to specifically show that one for you guys. For who it goes out to, I'll probably reskein it into a regular size skein, and then it'll just blend the colors so you won't see the color blocking as much. But I wanted to let you guys know that that was an option. And I have the same thing for the non-pulling. So it's untwisted, but because I was trying to figure out what the heck happened. But the same idea, I will reskein this one up. So you have like these little short ones. For the non-pulling one, it doesn't matter as much, but I have that too. So again, pulling on sock and BFL sock. Okay, so kind of leading that into the non-pulling skein. So again, the same idea, we use the same colors, but we blended them up a little bit more. So that's an option too. And again, I have that on sock and on BFL sock somewhere buried in this bin. So those are options as well. So again, you can mention the colors or the base or both. Okay, and then we have what we dyed up today. So the Cakes #1 skein. So we have that on sock, BFL sock, sorry. Some of these, like I untwisted them when I was recording and I haven't just retwisted them nicely. So BFL sock and DK, and of course I have it on kind of multiple options, you know, various skeins. So those are the options for the Dye With Me Club this month. So let me know your preference if you're in that club. If you're not in the club, you can join by clicking the link in the description box below, or just go to agirlandherwool.com and click on the Dye With Me Club. The clubs automatically renew on the 1st of the month, and then I ship out the orders a couple of days after that. They're all ready to go. They just have to get labeled up and shipped. So if you were in the club already, your subscription will renew on the 1st. So keep that in mind. You can cancel at any time, but until you cancel, it will automatically renew on the 20th of the month. So that is it for today's Dye With Me. I just wanted to quickly let you guys know that Not in Kansas anymore, as well as 4 Spices, those 2 colorways are going to go into hibernation at the end of this month. 4 Spices will probably be back this fall, and that's just the 4 Spices color. The individual colorways, so the 4 Spices collection, so like cayenne pepper, smoked paprika, sea salt, and purple basil, those are not retiring quite yet. And if you haven't already, go check out my last video from Faux Friday where I knit with those colors. But Not in Kansas Anymore was the exclusive colorway for the pigskin party, and so because the pigskin party is coming to an end, I'm going to take that colorway down. I can't remember exactly how long it has to be down for, but it might be like a full year. So if you want it, grab it now before the end of January, which I think is Sunday, is the 31st. So that is that. So thank you so much for tuning in for this Dye With Me. As always, I do a giveaway, so I'm going to give some of that information here. So because this is a series, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. So I did this when I last did a series. I did the fade along, dye along series back in the fall-ish, I think. And I just had one giveaway winner for the whole series, and that's what I'm going to do for this as well. So you can enter by commenting on all the videos in this series. So today was the first video for it. and I'm gonna have 2 more, so the next 2 videos as well, so you can enter as many times, you know, on all of the videos. And you can also enter by participating like on Instagram. So if you are a dyer and you end up dyeing this skein and you want to enter on Instagram, you can tag me there, and that will be an entry. So kind of more participation in the series. And if you're not a dyer and you want to post on Instagram that you watch this, feel free to do that as well. You know, you can always do that. But you can comment below certainly with the prompts throughout this video. So if you interpreted the picture differently than I did, make sure you mention that. And the prize, so when all is said and done, there will be 3 videos, 3 opportunities to enter. And so I'm going to be giving away a subscription to my limited series, my limited yarn club series for March, April, and May. So, or no, April, May, June. So the second quarter of the month, I'm doing a rainbow series yarn club. It's going to be a limited 3-time subscription, and you will be entered to win a subscription to that. So you will win 1 100-gram skein on my sock base for all that club. So I hope I said that well. It's going to be a 3-month yarn club that is rainbow inspired. So every single month, if you are the winner of this, you will receive a skein from that club on my sock base, as in a 100-gram skein. So that is a prize. I think it's a good one, so make sure you guys are participating. Again, comment on these videos, make sure you like them. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And I will see you guys throughout, you know, the week with everything else going on, but I will in particular see you in 2 weeks for the second series, for the second video in this series, where we will do a second interpretation on this. And if you haven't already, please go check out the Dye With Me Club. I love doing this club. I'm so excited about it, and I'm going to go get some coffee. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.